Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So let me ask you a question. What is the most important quality of being a quarterback, never mind an NFL quarterback? And that's being a leader of men. If you can't be a leader, no matter how good your arm is, no matter how good your legs are, no matter how good you can read an NFL defense, if you're not a leader of men, you're not going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. And this explains Justin Fields perfectly. Obviously, he has the rocket arm. Obviously, he can run the football. And I'm so glad the Pittsburgh Steelers, I didn't like the way that Coach Tomlin handled the situation. I thought that Justin Fields should have came in for Russell Wilson when Russell Wilson was obviously struggling. We probably would have won a playoff game last year if that decision had been made. But they always say things always work out for the best. And obviously they have. After I watched this interview with Justin Fields, I said to myself, this is not a leader of men. And thank God he no longer wears the black and gold. Let's jump into the video and I'll go from there.
I mean, we're blessed at the end of the day.
Like, can you be any more obnoxious? Clicking your teeth and getting the food out of your mouth and smacking your lips. Yeah, just what we want to see during a press conference. You couldn't have handled that before you came to the podium to talk to the press, getting the food out of your teeth. Just another day, man. Yeah, we're blessed, man. I don't care. I'm getting my millions of dollars. Don't care.
You look at the bigger picture in life. We're getting.
Just another cop out. This is always the cop out. It's a kid's game and the bigger picture in life. That's a cop out. So this game, when you're a professional, puts food on your table, buys your mother a new house, sends your kids to college, gives you a career. So when these $1 million idiots get up there and they say, oh, it's just the game, I can't stand when coaches or players' wives say it's just the game, as they're driving their new $80,000 BMW and, have $1 million house on the shore and spend $40,000 on a vacation. Oh, it's just a game, just a kid's game. Really? No, it's a job. It's a career. It's more than a game. And if you had any sense to yourself, you would look at it as a profession and not just the game. See, that's always the cop out. Well, there's more to life than just football. Okay, go be a construction worker and tell me how you like that paycheck at the end of the week, pal.
Paid well to play a child sport, so I think that's one. Just
We get paid to play a child sport. Yeah, in Pop Warner, that it was a child sport. In high school, it was a teenager sport. In college, it was a younger man sport. But in the NFL, this is a man's sport, a man's league. And the more men you have on your team that are accountable for their actions and play with a sense of urgency, the better your team's going to be. So I'm glad. Listen, I can't stand the New York Jets and I can't stand Aaron Glenn the way he treated Aaron Rodgers. This explains their 0-4 start. And I'm so glad that he's no longer up. This explains to you why the Steelers were just like, you know what? I don't give a shit. Let this clown walk. He thinks he's on. I couldn't figure out because he always seemed pretty calm for a guy that was getting screwed over or pretty calm, sitting on the bench. Now, I don't expect him to act like George Pickens, but at least show me a little emotion. But maybe this explains it all. Oh, you know what? I don't give a shit. It's a kid's game. I'm making my millions. Just give me my money.
like I said, just looking at the bigger picture. No matter
Yeah.
what everybody goes through, at least this is my mindset. No matter what I go through in this game, I'm always going to keep a positive mindset just because I know how blessed I am. But in kind of other terms, what I think you're looking for is, like I said after the game Sunday, we've lost 3 games.
I love guys. They always hide behind. I love guys like this that hide behind God and they hide behind it's a kid's game and it's just a game. It's like Dion does this all the time. He always hides behind Dion. For real, you need to pray for yourself with the race baiting with your son. And meanwhile, you turn down the Ravens and you turn down the Eagles because you didn't want Shador to be a backup. But you let this whole narrative and notion go on that it was the racist NFL that sent Shador to Cleveland to die and all this other stuff. Not once did you apologize. Not once did you come out and say it's not true. I love when these guys do this, when they hide behind certain things. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm blessed. I don't care. Team go 0-21. I'm blessed. I'll get into a Mercedes after the game.
By one score. So I think, that's a positive to look at. And I think if we clean up, turnovers, penalties, that's definitely going to put us in a better position to secure those wins instead of, saying we're close and this and that. But just, focusing on us, not our necessarily our opponents, but fixing everything that we can to put ourselves in the best position to win.
How do you think Aaron and the other coaches are handling this in terms of making sure you guys are still following?
Same mindset. I'm not necessarily thinking I know. At least I communicate with AJ a lot and Tanner, and they have the same mindset as we do. So yeah, but I think to get to that point, to where we are securing those dubs, everybody has to be on the same page, and that's not only in this locker room, but that's the coaches as well and everybody else around the building. So.
AG said when it pops, like you're gonna know it. You're gonna see signs. Have you seen signs that potentially the offense, just the team in general, just heading in the right direction?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, we put a number of great drives together this past Monday night, and like I said, we can say we left points out there, and like I said, we just got to clean up some stuff on our end, and once we do, the W's will start rolling in. So.
You lose that power running element with Braylon Allen. How do you guys replace that?
Isaiah's a great back. We got Kane as well. So, like I said, since OTA, since I got here, I mean, our running back room is loaded. But definitely, praise up for my guy BA and healthy recovery and a smooth recovery too. And I think, I know the guys in the locker room will be there for him to keep his spirits up. But yeah, I think as far as just the running back room goes, I'm excited to see what Isaiah can do with a more intimate role with the offense and him being out on the field more. So.
Even though you said you left some points out there, what did you like about the offense and what you were able to do?
Yeah, I think the first drive we started off running the ball well, a lot of explosive runs and really just moving the ball down the field, running the ball. So that's always good. Always makes my job easier for sure when the run game gets going like that. And just like I said, we put up. I think the first drive was 90+ yards and. I think we did a good job 2 minutes before the end of half and at the end of the game where we put points up and kind of gave our chance to gave ourselves a chance to win at the end if we would have got the onside kick. So just small stuff like that. I think just small situations throughout the game just kind of look kind of good on our end. So.
Justin, you talked about how you approach this kind of start. Do you feel a responsibility as the quarterback of this team that the guys are looking for you?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's my job, as the quarterback of this team, as one of the captains, and as one of the leaders of this team to make sure everybody feels that in the locker room. So, I talked to the guys after the game on Monday night and kind of expressed that to them and how I kind of felt. But I mean, like I said, I think everybody in this locker room is in good spirits. We're ready to get back to work this week and go out there Sunday and play ball.
With your fumble, Justin, what do you need to do differently to get better ball security?
Hold on to the ball. Yeah, it's simple. Yeah, hold on to the ball.
The pre-snap penalties, it seemed like it wasn't one guy, it was just a bunch of different guys. Is that concentration lapses or are there some procedural things that
Like, dude, can you get the food out of your mouth before the press conference, smacking his lips and looking? It's just like, thank God he's not a Steeler.
Yeah, I think a few of them were, concentration. And I think others were myself.
Yeah, real leader of men. Can you be any more obnoxious? Is it humanly possible?
The play clock was going down, and we had a number amount of motions. So
Yeah, somebody let him know there's a couple microphones in front of his face, so we don't have to hear him, click his teeth or lick his lips or get the food out of his mouth before he talks. Smacking his lips as he's talking.
I was trying to wait as long as I thought I needed to wait to move the next guy to come. You have to be set for a split second. So, but I think, we talked about that with the coaches, and we're going to make a few changes on offense, just pre-snap to try to avoid those at all costs. So.
I know you've seen a ton of Garrett, but what do you think of the way he's playing and what it's like for you to, wherever you throw it, he's going to go get it?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the story ever since I've known Garrett, so that's no surprise to me nor you guys. I mean, y'all seen it multiple times. So, I mean, like I've always said, he's a great receiver, a great teammate. Great person, and anytime you get that one-on-one shot with him, you want to throw it up. So yeah.
do you quarterbacks I'm wondering, as a guy who obviously can run very well, do you look at your rushing stats? I mean, quarterbacks hardly ever look at their rushing stats, obviously, looking at your passing stats. Do you even look at how many you're averaging per game?
I don't really look at stats, to be honest with you. I think I know it.
I don't really look at stats, to be honest with you. No, I'm not in the quarterback room. I'm not concerned about third down percentage or percentages on first down or no type of stats. Just not interested, man. I got better stuff to do. I'm highly blessed and paid, and at the end of the day, I'm playing a kid's game, so nothing's really important to me.
At this point in our season, nobody's really worried about stats. We're worried about getting wins. So stats are cool and all, but we want W's on the board.
You're not worried about your own stats, how you're doing on third down, first down, your rushing average, really? You don't take your craft that serious and look at your own production and say to yourself, I need to do better in this area, that area? No. Not me.
Justin, what have you thought about Mason's development here early in his career?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he finally got to show it a little bit this past Monday night, but he's been doing the same thing since OTAs. Like I said, he's a very polished rookie. He surprised me. I didn't watch a lot of LSU last year, so when we drafted him, I didn't really know his game or know what kind of player he was, but he came out here and showed us who he was early by his work ethic, by his execution in practice, by his focus. He's really smart, and that's always good to have as a quarterback. And like I said, he's a smooth route runner, has natural hands, and is just a playmaker at the end of the day. So of course, glad to have him.
You know who the best athletes are? You know who they are? The best athletes are athletes, even when they're dominating the competition in their sport. They play with a sense of urgency, as if nothing is ever good enough, no matter how much they do, no matter how much they win. They always feel like enough is not enough. Do you see that from Justin Fields? He's just here, Justin, before I get into everything else, let me give you some advice as a man, as a player, as somebody that probably wants to get sponsorship money since you're all about the money. Get the food out of your teeth before you go to the press conference so we don't have to see you smack your lips and clean your teeth during the friggin' press conference, idiot. That's number one. Number two, I love how he just downplayed everything like, oh, this little tiny thing here and this little tiny thing here and this little tiny thing here. Every single thing in the NFL is a big deal because it's a game of inches. And maybe this idiot, he just, and maybe that's why he has the career that he's been having. Maybe that's why Chicago let him go. The Steelers didn't give a shit. And I'm sure after this season, when the Jets go 0-15, 0-60, they're like, listen, I don't think that he's the answer. And is it anything physical? If you look at him, you'd probably say, no, it's not physical. He can run. He's got a rocket. Does this inspire any professional player that really wants to win and is super competitive? I know that lackadaisical attitude, if I was on his team and we were losing, would really piss me off, honestly. Have you seen what Aaron Rodgers has done to the Pittsburgh Steelers with his sense of urgency, with wanting to get everything perfect and holding everybody to the same standard of perfection or trying to make it as perfect as possible? Do you see what that's done for the Steelers? Do you see what Aaron Rodgers' teammates, they like, man, I got to get it together because this guy's going to hold me accountable. Do you get that vibe from Justin Fields? Nah, man, no big deal. I'm blessed. I don't care. Get my money no matter what. It's just a little, we're 0-4. No big deal. Spirits are still good. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just a kid's game. I'm highly blessed, highly favored. Don't care if we win. Don't care if we make the playoffs. I'm all good. Oh, I'm so glad he's not a Steeler anymore. So watching this today was absolutely sickening. Same old Jets. I love it. I can't stand the Jets. And again, I'm only covering this because he was a Steeler and the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted to sign him long term. And thank God we didn't do that. Thank God we dodged this bullet. If the Pittsburgh Steelers would have signed Justin Fields to a 2-year, 3-year deal, the only thing it would have done is set the organization back the amount of years that he signed the contract for. That's exactly what would have happened. There's rumors that Kenny Pickett is going to be traded again. Where's Terry Bradshaw? Let me guess, Terry. Is it still the Steelers organization's fault? It's still Coach Tomlin's fault? I mean, Coach Tomlin, all he wanted from Kenny Pickett was for him to compete for his job, and Kenny Pickett whined and cried and wanted to be traded to the Eagles of all places. So let me guess, Terry, it's the Eagles' fault. It's the Browns' fault now. And whatever team he goes to, it's going to be their fault. A mid-season pick trade would make modern NFL history, breaking a tie with fellow 2022 draft mate Sam Howell for most times being dealt in a player's first 4 years. Man, Pickett getting dealt for a third time in a calendar year would be tough on his real estate portfolio, Fowler wrote on his section of the column. Oh, the forever fragile, the mentally fragile and physically fragile Kenny Pickett being traded again. This pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers is probably the absolute worst draft pick in NFL history. Never mind a first round draft pick, just the worst Pittsburgh Steelers draft pick in their whole franchise history. Kenny Pickett is that guy. He is the worst draft pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers ever. And it's not just so much because he's being it's his mentality. How the hell did Kenny Pickett manipulate Coach Tomlin, Omar Khan, and the Pittsburgh Steelers organization that he had Pittsburgh Steelers DNA, and he was the type of player that the Pittsburgh Steelers fans and organization were going to love? Mr. Fragility himself, a guy that's missed multiple games with bone bruises, not breaks, not sprains, bruises. He couldn't play because he had a bruise. And then he's asked to compete for his job and then cries that Coach Tomlin lied to him and demands to be traded to the Eagles of all places, where he has no chance to ever play. Oh, the Kenny Pickett story just keeps getting better and better. But hey, Terry, as long as he listens to country music, he's all good in your eyes. 4 players for the Pittsburgh Steelers named to Dane Brolger's early all-rookie team. And the greatest thing about this is that they're all defensive players. Derek Harmon has been as good as advertised. Fellow defensive lineman and 5th-round pick Y.A. Black is up there. So is 4th-round pick Jack Sawyer, who has stepped up and been a nice depth piece at outside linebacker. The 4th rookie in that mix, it's a bit unexpected, but rookie 7th-round pick Carson Bruner earning praise from Brolger due to his work on special teams. All 4 rookies were just honorable mention, but the arrows are pointing up for each of them. It's great. It's great news. I loved it. Listen, I'm all about defense. That's why I love the Steelers. Nothing makes me happier than we draft. If it was up to me, we would draft nothing but defensive players. I mean, it sounds ignorant, I know, but that's the way that I am. I love hearing this, and I love seeing it. Harmon finds himself behind Cleveland's Mason Graham and the Chargers' Jarmee Caldwell on the 1st and 2nd team on Brolger's all-rookies team at defensive line, but he's among honorable mentions with Black as well, and Tampa Bay's Elijah Roberts, Detroit's Tyleek Williams, Buffalo's Deion Walker, Miami's Jordan Phillips and Kenneth Grant, and Cleveland's Aiden Huntington. I love all 4 of these players, and I think the sky is the limit as long as they keep working hard, that good things are going to happen. Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers had 4 Steelers land on PFF's first quarter All-Pro team. Defensive lineman Cameron Hayward is the only Steelers first team All-Pro through the first quarter of the season, while wide receiver DK Metcalf, cornerback Jalen Ramsey, and kicker Chris Boswell earned second team All-Pro accolades from Pro Football Focus. I'm surprised Jalen Ramsey's on here. He's been beat often in coverage. I mean, I know sometimes they say it's the safety's fault, but he's been targeted a lot and completions have been made and touchdowns have been scored against Jalen Ramsey. But hey, maybe that just sums up the cornerback play in the National Football League. I mean, Chris Boswell is an absolute terminator. You know, the amount of money that Chris Boswell is getting paid by the Pittsburgh Steelers is absolute criminal. The Steelers should be charged with armed robbery. Announcers for Steelers-Browns Week 6 game reveal, J.J. Watt looking like a giant-sized Macaulay Culkin. He's been doing a great job. I think I should be the announcer for Game 6. I'm going to end it with this. L.C. Greenwood moves step closer toward Hall of Fame induction. 20 days after being announced as part of the 162 senior players nominated for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026, former Pittsburgh Steelers great L.C. Greenwood has moved one step closer toward induction into the halls of Canton. Greenwood is among 52 players who advanced to the next stage of the process, the Pro Football Hall of Fame announced Thursday. Greenwood was previously one of 4 former Steelers among the 162, including wide receiver Lionel Taylor, running back Byron Whizzer White, and linebacker Greg Lloyd. The 4-time Super Bowl champion, member of the Steelers Hall of Honor, and member of their all-time team, was among senior nominees last year, but was ultimately snubbed. Well, I want to see as many Pittsburgh Steelers get into the Hall of Fame as possible. I'm always rooting for the black and gold. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.